I think as a collective group of fans, not just Bulldogs fans, we all held our breath with Sam Darcy. But some good news today, if that can be such a thing, given it's not an ACL and we think he'll only be 3 to 4 months, listening to the likes of Doc Larkins today. But the situation surrounding Jamarra Ugle-Hagan, who would have been a perfect replacement, has only been heightened by this latest injury to Sam Darcy, hasn't it?
It has been because, you think to yourself, OK, we've got Naughton, we've got Darcy and we've got Ugle-Hagan. So
good cover. Yeah,
good cover. And no Waitman as well. So they've lost 3 of them, Darcy, Ugle-Hagan and Waitman. But you understand Waitman, injuries are part of the game. You understand Darcy, but it's just so disappointing. Obviously, mental health is a big thing. And I feel for the Western Bulldogs, Damo, for the fact that... to hear a coach say he trains sometimes, we see him sometimes, then we don't see him. I'm starting to feel for the Western Bulldogs and say, oh, geez, I'm disappointed for them. And you can sense that he's never going to play for the Western Bulldogs ever again. And it had me thinking, can the AF clubs cover themselves in the future and have a clause in that they feel like you're using it to a point that is benefiting you and it goes past just mental health? Can you terminate or have an ability to in the future? Because it's not just this year, Dame. I'm talking he's contracted for next year as well.
Yeah, he is. Look, I don't believe so, Lloyd. Under the AFL-PAE structure of contracting, it's just not done. There is a protection there for the player exclusively over the football club in such matters. And it's effectively buyer beware when it comes to the operations. Now, we know around the world, the NFL particularly, with private ownership of clubs and their businesses as much as sporting organisations, that situation would have been dealt with very differently. He wouldn't be paid and he'd be off the books already, I'd imagine. So,
do you guys have sympathy for the Western Bulldogs or not?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, ultimately, he's an employee that he's not, at the moment, at this present time, enabled to fulfil his duties. One thing I think that has really impressed me personally is Luke Beveridge and the Bulldogs' ability to be very honest and open about this situation. He took that to another level in his press conference during the week.
The decision making in regards to Jamarra's future and what that entails is significantly in the AFL's hands. So we're waiting on them to do certain things, and we're continually interacting with them and working through it to work out what's best for Murray.
It was a strategy shift in him referencing the AFL, Sam, and I know that you're across this as well. And what we are able to ascertain on the back of what Luke Beveridge said there is that Kate Hall, who is the head of mental health and wellbeing at the AFL, is clearly overseeing a large part of the programming around the bid to get Jamarra Ugle-Hagan fit mentally again to resume a football career. And that was the referencing there from Luke Beveridge. Now, it's going to go deeper than that. There are layers to it, but she is in coordination with the football club itself, obviously Jamarra and people around Jamarra. But it was the first time the public's been let in on the fact that the AFL is involved, similarly to what they were at Melbourne with Clayton Oliver for, again, similar reasons for the absence.
And there's, to your point, are you frustrated or are you disappointed for the Dogs? I think, Jimmy, to a large extent we are, but even with the club being as honest as they can, the truth is there's so much that we don't know. Yeah. The Bulldogs will know more, the AFL will know more, the people that are helping treat Jamarra Ugle-Hagan for whatever the issues that he's dealing with, they will know more. We can't talk to a situation that we don't fully understand.
Oh, I fully agree with that, Sam. And so we're just speculating here and trying to avoid speculating because we don't know. But you do get the sense when you hear Luke Beveridge, there is a sense of helplessness from him, and it's in somebody else's hands. And in the
end, he's running a business, isn't it?
Yeah,
coaching's a business.
It's a waiting game. But you touched on it. I admire his ability to just keep finding players and still fronting up week in, week out, and being competitive as they have been.
Just on that, Sam, too, the knowledge of it, it's also the expertise in dealing with the actual problems, and they are multifaceted and many, and they are ranging in so many parts of his life. And again, we're not going to go into it, but it is as complex a situation as there has been.
Aaron Naughton, I thought he became a different player once Darcy went off. So I feel like he's felt like he's the number 2 and he's played like a number 2 in a sense. And I thought there was a shift. And yes, he misses shots he should kick, but he was a far better player once Darcy went off the ground. So I just wonder whether we can see the best of him because he's been a tease. He's drafted, and sometimes I thought he could be the best centre-half back in the comp. He'll never be the best centre-half forward, but let's see what he's made of because he becomes nearly their most important player now.
Well, he got lots of looks the other night, Lloydie, because the Bulldogs dominant midfield, and Ross Lyon reflected on this, how badly Saints were beaten in the midfield.
We knew they had some clear strength with centre square bounce. We've been pretty good, but they are basically the number 1 team in there. So if I start there, we sort of got annihilated in there. Like at the end, there was just some really disappointing where I felt like we dropped our bundle where they just sieved us out of the front half. So really, I sort of disappointed. And you're right, it was non-competitive at times.
Yeah, non-competitive, but great structure. And you had that man there, Bontempelli, who was incredible. He was just amazing in the first half. Sanders showed again, the talent that a lot of people, the Bulldogs, talk about, 30-plus touches. Fraser's another one they've found, and then you've got Davison here off the wing. So their depth and power that they had through the midfield, I haven't even mentioned Richards as well, but they did cut them up through the front of stoppages. Sanders, as well. But look at this is just perfect shape. These are the drills that you do at training where you win the first contest, you take care of the contest, the source. Libber, there you go, a magician in close, but they're shape away. Look at that, stand up in the tackle, hands, and you wait until you get the next one free. That's why they're able to kick 64 points from stoppage. They dominated inside forward 50s.
What are they, the Dogs, you think? Top 8, top 6?
I think they've shown they're a top 8 side. Yeah. With their experience, their system, his ability to find players to fill gaps and not only sell it to those players that they're not filling in, that they're there to play those major roles.